Welcome to my channel, everyone. My name is Sue, and today we're going to be doing a class that I have been teaching throughout the week, and I thought I'd share it with you as well. It's a class that involves revolved triangles and revolved hand to big toe pose, and also a spinal twist that's very similar to those two poses. We'll see how these three poses link together, and along the way, let's have a fun flow class as well, a fun Vinyasa class. All right, let us begin with some centering. Sit nice and tall, comfortable seated position, cross-legged or one ankle in front of the other. Place your hands on your knees, close your eyes, allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears. Begin with deep breaths in and out through the nose. Slow inhales and drawn out exhales. With your next exhale, relax your shoulders, soften your limbs, allow the entire body to be at ease. Find a little bit more softness. And as the body begins to relax, allow the mind to find some stillness as well. Let us be present. Let us be right here and right now. Take that one more inhale. And exhale. Great. Gently open your eyes and welcome. Let's switch those legs around. Place your hands on your knees. And let's rotate the upper body. Small circles to start off with. You can close your eyes if you like. Just to warm up that low back, the spine, all those connective tissues. Let's switch directions, rotate the other way. Let's find our way back to the center, seated tall. Place your right hand on the ground. Take your left and reach it up and over. Press the left shoulder open, perhaps taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then reach forward with that left hand. Draw a big semicircle, rainbow right in front of you. And find your way back up to seated. Take the other hand, reach it up and over. Press that right shoulder open, perhaps turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. Continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And let's draw that big semicircle, reach out in front of you. And all the way back up to seated. Okay. Interlace your fingers, press your palms forward, stretch your arms out and overhead. And you can stay right here or lean slightly over to one side, back to center and over to the other side. And inhale back to the middle, reach those hands overhead, and then release those hands as you rotate towards the right side. Your left hand just somewhere along the opposite leg. Soft gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center, reach your arms overhead, long spine, and then rotate to the opposite side. Good. Keep breathing. Excellent. Inhale back to the center, reach those arms overhead, and then interlace your fingers behind your back so that the palms are facing one another. Press the hands away from the hips. Lift the chest, turn your gaze up towards the ceiling, take that deep breath. And then exhale to release, place your hands on the mat and walk back into tabletop position. You just find yourself in tabletop. Make sure your knees are stacked over, directly under the hips and your wrists are under the shoulders. Press down into the hands to arch the back, coming into cat pose. Let the belly drop, lift the chin, coming into cow pose. Come back to the middle, flat back. Shift the hips over to one side, both hips over to one side. Inhale back to center and then over to the other side. And go ahead and bring it back to the middle, back to the center. Curl those toes under. Lift the knees off the mat. Set up for that first downward facing dog. Knees perhaps bent as you keep a nice long spine here. Pressing down into those fingertips. Pressing those hips up high. And then straighten one leg by pressing that heel down towards the mat, keeping the other knee bent. Next, exhale, switch. And one more on each side. Take your time. And both legs a little straighter, those heels reaching down towards the mat, pressing those hips up and back. Send your gaze up in between the hands. Walk your feet to the top of the mat to come into your forward bend. So as you come into forward bend, you might have to have the knees slightly bent and let the upper body just relax forward. Feel free to move a little with the head or the shoulders, or even swaying the body side to side. After a while, you may want to straighten those legs and start to feel a deeper stretch to the back of those legs. One more deep breath. To come out of this pose, bend your knees. Start to make your way all the way up to standing, rolling up or coming up with a flat back. Take your time, draw those shoulders away from your ears and make any adjustments that you need to make. Let's warm up with some sun salutations. Start off with hands in a prayer position and inhale to stretch your arms out and overhead. Reaching tall, and exhale to fold into forward bend. Inhale, wave up halfway, hands on your shins, your thighs, or the floor. Flat back and long spine. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat. Walk one foot at a time back into a high push-up position, taking your time to set up for high push-up. Okay. You can lower those knees down for a softer version or keep those legs straight as you take your low push-up. And inhale through into Cobra. And just coming into Cobra, going as high as comfortable for your body. Now let's take it back into downward facing dog. Here, curl your toes under. Safest way is on your knees first. Curl your toes under and press the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. And in down dog, take your gaze under the right shoulder and shift your hips slightly over to the right. If you think you need a little bit more, cross that left foot behind the right and walk that left hand towards the top left corner of the mat. Come back to the middle, downward facing dog. Just pausing it here. Shifting the hips over to the left side. Feel that good stretch to the right side of the body. Either stay there or cross that right foot behind the left and inch that right hand towards the top right corner of the mat. And just hold it there. One more deep breath. You got this. Come back to the center, downward facing dog. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, step walk or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Once you get there, inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold into your forward bend. And inhale, back up to standing, stretch your arms out, let the palms meet, take that gentle back bend, and exhale back to the very start. Okay, let's keep going that way. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, lift up halfway for flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat. Either walk back into high push-up or jump back into low push-up. Okay, so your choice. High push-up to low push-up. And inhale through into your cobra or even up dog. If you're doing that, press down into those feet to lift the thighs off the mat. Next exhale, let's take it back. Downward facing dog. Curl those toes under. Lift the hips up and back. Down dog. Good. In your down dog, take the right leg and float it off the ground. Come into three-legged dog. Carefully step the right foot forward to come into a runner's lunge. Keep the back toe curl under, front knee stacked over the front ankle. Plant that left hand on the ground and rotate the chest towards the right side, either by pressing that right hand on the right thigh or reaching that right hand up towards the ceiling. You can even bring that right arm across the low back. Press that right shoulder open. Good twist. And then back leg is strong. Try not to lean so deeply into that left hand. One more deep breath. Carefully unwind both hands back down into the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Either staying there in down dog or shifting forward and taking your variation of your half sun salutation. Low push up, cobra up dog, and back into downward facing dog. Good. And here we go. We'll take that left leg and lift it up high for three-legged dog. Carefully step the left foot forward to come into runner's lunge. Front knee over the front ankle. Back leg is straight and strong. Let those hips sink down a little. Place that right hand on the ground and rotate the chest towards the left side. Taking a variation with the arms, either keep it where it is, stretch that hand up towards the ceiling or across the low back. One more deep breath. And then carefully release, unwind both hands back down into the mat, step back into downward dog. Stay there or flow. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, feet to the top of the mat, step, walk, or hop your feet up. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And inhale, let's take it all the way back up. And exhale, back to start. I always like to add in a side stretch here. So inhale, let's reach those arms overhead. Interlace fingers, pointer index fingers. And take it over to the right, hips slightly to the left. Inhale back to the center and over to the other side. Inhale back to the middle, and as you swan dive, interlace the fingers behind your back at the same time and fold into forward bend, pressing the hands away from the hips. Legs as straight as you can get them. It's okay if you have to have them slightly bent if you're still feeling quite tight in the back of those legs. Soften the neck. One more deep breath. Great, and let's release those hands. Let the arms dangle down towards the floor. Next, inhale, lift up halfway for that flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat. Step, walk, or hop back into high to low push-up. Inhale through into your cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back to down dog. Let's float that right foot off the ground, coming into three-legged dog. Maybe this time bend the right knee and open up a little. Try to get the right hip higher than the left. Good. Level off the hips and step the right foot forward for warrior one. Keep that back heel down for warrior one. Front knees bend, back leg straight. I'm going to reach those arms overhead, warrior one. Add a little movement today in our warrior one. So as you straighten the front leg, lower the arms down about shoulder height and try rotating the chest slightly over to that right leg. Keeping those arms stretched away from one another. And then sink back into our warrior one. Got that? Okay, straighten the front leg, rotate, and then back into warrior one. Let's do two more of those. Inhale, exhale. And one more. And warrior one. Great. Let's bring those hands back down into the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Again, you can stay right here or shift forward and flow. Good. Let's go ahead and float that left foot off the ground, coming into three-legged dog. You can stay right here or bend the left knee and try to get that left hip higher than the right. So opening up, a little hip stretch, spinal twist. Level off the hips. Carefully place the left foot up in between the hands. Warrior one, plant the back heel down and go ahead and adjust, come up. Chest is facing forward. Reach those arms overhead. Warrior one. Allow the shoulders to relax. Soften the face. Straighten the front leg a little or a lot as you rotate the chest slightly towards that leg. Stretch those arms out. And then come back. Warrior one. You inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Holding it, warrior one. And let's release those hands back down into the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Option 2, take your halves and salutation. At the end of this next exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, step walk, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Once you get there, inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, let's come all the way back up. Stretch those arms out and overhead. Take a gentle back bend. And exhale, back to the start. Okay, we'll add on to that, even more to that. Let's bring those hands back into prayer position. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. And exhale, fold into forward bend. If your hands don't touch the ground comfortably, bend those knees deeply enough so that the hands are on the ground. Keep your left hand on the ground. Bring your right hand onto your right waist. And then start to rotate the chest towards the right side by lifting the right shoulder up a little higher. And as you do that, you may want to straighten the right leg. You may want to reach that right hand up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing, 1 more deep breath. And then release into forward bend. Again, bend the knees enough so that the hands are on the ground. Keep the right hand on the ground. Place the left hand on the waist and start to rotate the chest towards the left side so that the left shoulder is higher than the right. Option to reach that left hand up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing here, 1 more deep breath. And we'll release, bring those hands back down onto the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway for flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat. Step walk or hop back into high to low push-up. Inhale through to cobra, up dog. And exhale to flow back into downward facing dog. Okay. Let's take it into a little core work here. Take that right leg, stretch it up high, three-legged dog. Draw that right knee right down the center. Stay here for soft version or for more work. Shift forward into knee plank, hovering the shoulders over the wrists, keeping that right foot hovering. Stretch that right leg up and back. Let's do that again. Draw that right knee down the center and hover, stay. Keep breathing. And then take that right leg up and back. Now let's take that same movement and step the right foot forward for warrior two. Opening up to the long side of the mat, warrior two. So we want to press those thighs away from one another. Keep that spine straight up and down. Plant the feet down firmly and stretch those arms out. So you want to adjust until you get that comfortable distance for your body. Soft gaze over the right fingertips. Allow the shoulders to relax. And breathe. Good. Let's come into our triangle pose next. Straighten the front leg and bring that right hand down towards the right knee, shin, or ankle. And this is a great place if you have any blocks with you. You can grab a hold of those blocks. Bring it to the inside of the right foot. And press that left shoulder back as though there's an imaginary wall behind you and you're pressing back into that wall. Same thing with that hip. Take that left hand up towards the ceiling, triangle pose. One more deep breath. And an inhale, come all the way back up. Pivot the right toe so that you've got both toes pointing towards the same side and come into wide angle forward bend. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, let's fold it into forward bend. Release the hands down onto the floor. Keep those legs straight. You want to feel the stretch at the back of the legs. Notice if you are shifted back or shifted forward, you want to keep quite an even weight on the front and the back portion of the feet. Just one more deep breath. Perfect. Inhale, let's make our way back up. Walk your way back towards the top half of the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. And as always, you can stay here in down dog. You can even come into child's pose for a break, or for more, take your half sun salutation. We all meet back in downward facing dog, holding it here. And take that left leg and lift it up high for three-legged dog. Draw that left knee right down the center. Stay there or shift forward to hover. Hold it there. And then take that left leg and stretch it up and back, three-legged dog. Once again. Hover. And then take that left leg up and back. Good. Let's go ahead and take the left foot forward to come into our warrior two this time, opening up to the long side of the mat. We want to adjust again so that the front knee is over the front ankle. Okay. And you've got that right hip pressed back so that the hips are in line with one another, and hold it, warrior two. Stay there for a few more breaths. And let's set ourselves up for triangle pose. Straighten the front leg. And if you have a block handy and would like to use it, place it to the inside of the left foot. Take the left hand down to the left knee, shin or ankle. Press that right shoulder open. Press that right hip open as best as you can. And then option to stretch that right hand up towards the ceiling. And you want to take a soft gaze up towards the right fingertips if it doesn't hurt your ears. Your neck won't hurt your ears. Alright, here we go. Let's take one more deep breath. Inhale, let's come all the way back up. Pivot the front toe back so that both toes are pointing in the same direction, and we're going to come into a forward bend once again, this time with an option of interlaced fingers behind the backs. Interlaced fingers, palms facing one another, or if you have a strap handy, you can grab a hold of the strap and hold on to the strap instead. Keep your face soft, your neck relaxed. If you have loose shoulders, your hands maybe will come further down than I have it right now. Just depending on the activity that I did the day before. realize my shoulders are really tight. Good, and let's release the hands and let the arms just dangle down towards the mat. Hold it here for one more deep breath. And let's walk our way back to the front of the mat and step back into downward facing dog. And you know it, you can stay right here or take your half sun salutation. Good. At the end of this exhale, gaze in between the hands, feet to the top of the mat, step, walk, or hop. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And inhale all the way back up. Stretch arms overhead. Gentle back bend. And exhale back to the start. Okay, let's keep going. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Exhale to fold into forward bend. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to low push-up. Inhale, cobra, up dog. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Okay, good. Now step the right foot about 2/3 of the way up. So not all the way up as we usually do, but 2/3 of the way up. And we're coming into pyramid pose or intense side stretch pose. For this pose, you want to make sure that the hips are level to one another. So your left hip, make sure it shifts forward to line up with the right. Keeping those hands on the waist, legs straight as you can get them. Start to hinge forward with long spine. Try to keep the spine long. You can have your hands remain at your waist or bring them down onto the floor if the floor is not too far away. So you get this intense stretch to the back of that right leg. Hold it here. One more deep breath. Okay. And then come all the way back up to standing. And this is where your block could come in really handy. We're going to practice a revolve triangle pose. Okay. So your legs are going to be in the same position as before with your intense side stretch. And take your left hand, reach it up towards the ceiling. Long legs, long spine. Bring that left hand down onto the ground. If you have it to the inside of the right foot, it's a little easier. If you want a more intense twist, then bring it to the outside. Press down into the block onto your mat and try to get the right shoulder higher than the left. And this might be it here, staying where you are, or you can stretch that right hand up towards the ceiling. And if you're feeling comfortable, you can turn your gaze up towards those right hands, or just focus your gaze at a point that's not moving and hold it. This gets pretty intense. Try one more deep breath. And then very carefully release those hands back down onto the floor and step back into downward facing dog. Take your time, down dog. A little bit of movement in down dog. You want more? Take your sun salutation, your half sun salutation. Okay, downward dog. And we'll step the left foot up about 2/3 of the way. So again, we're coming into our intense side stretch pose. You're going to feel this at the back of the left leg. So make sure that the right hip doesn't shift back. You want to make sure that the hips are level to one another. Keep those legs straight, spine long, and then hinge forward. Stay there with the hands at the waist, or if the floor isn't too far, go ahead and release those hands down onto the mat. Don't forget your deep breaths. Good. Let's come back up to standing. Take your time all the way back up. Keep those legs in the same position. And we're going to take the block into the right hand if you're using a block, because I forgot to mention that you might not need a block today. I'm going to demonstrate with the block. Take that right hand, reach it up high. Keep those legs straight, spine straight as you bring the right hand down onto the ground. Inside a little easier, outside of the left foot a little bit more twist. Okay, so here we go. We're going to press down into the right hand to lift the left shoulder a little higher than the right. Of course, if you're struggling here, you'll stay where you are. But if you need a little bit more, or you think you can stretch that left hand up towards the ceiling, you'll do that. And of course, you can turn your gaze up towards the left hand as well. A little shift of the gaze, maybe shaky. That's fine. Hold it. Don't forget to breathe. It can be a very hard pose balance-wise. One more deep breath. All right, let's release both hands back down to the ground. Step back into downward facing dog. You still need more. Let's flow. Take your low push-up, cobra up dog, and back to downward facing dog. Little movement, pedal out the feet. You can come into child's pose if you like, or just stay in downward dog. Good. Let's take that one more deep breath. Come back into down dog if you're in child's pose. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, step, walk, or hop. Your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And inhale, let's come all the way back up. Stretch your arms out and overhead. Gentle back bend. And exhale, back to prayer. Good. Now we're going to come into a balance pose. It's a revolved hand to big toe pose, and it's going to look similar to your revolved triangle. It's the same idea. And we're going to start off by balancing on the left foot. So left foot on the ground, and lift your right knee up about hip height. We're going to do a first version, a gentler version. Take that left hand to the outside of the right thigh or right knee, and you can keep your right hand at the waist as you rotate your chest towards the right side. And you might want to stretch that back hand towards the back wall. Hold it there, one more deep breath. And then carefully rotate back to the front. And give that little bit of movement, pedaling out the feet a little bit of shoulder roll out. And let's make it to, let's switch to the other side. So balance that right foot on the ground, firm feet on the ground. Lift that left knee up about hip height. Take your right hand to the outside of the left knee and rotate the chest towards the left side. So do your best to draw that left shoulder back, and if you want, you can stretch that left arm towards the back as well. And one more deep breath. Let's come back to the front. With that little bit of movement, let's take a sun salutation to wipe that off. Wipe that clean. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high to low push-up. Step or hop back. Inhale into your cobra or up dog, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Stay here in down dog or come into child's pose for a break. One more deep breath. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, step, walk, or hop. Your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale that half lift. Exhale to fold. And inhale, come back up to standing. Reach those arms up and overhead. And gentle back bend. And exhale, hands back to prayer. So you can do the same pose as before or join me with the more advanced version of this pose. So we're going to start off balancing on the left foot. I'm going to just turn away from you so that you can see a little better what's going to happen. And you're going to bring your right knee up about hip height. Okay? Take your left hand to the outside of the right foot. You hold on to the outside, or you can grab a hold of the big toe and stretch your leg out as best as you can. And then you can take your other arm, your right arm, and stretch it behind you. So that's our revolve, hand to big toe pose. And if you're feeling steady, you can turn your gaze towards the back hand as well. Not today. All right. Here we go. One more deep breath. And then we'll release, coming back to the front. And give that a little bit of shake off. How did that go? Let's try the other side. Okay, so we're going to balance on the right foot this time. Lift your left knee up about hip height. Okay, either hold on to the outside of the left foot or grab a hold of the big toe, and then you're going to do your best to straighten that leg and revolve your chest towards the left side, and it's easier to stretch that left hand back right away for that counterbalance. Keep breathing. Temptation to hold on to that breath here. And we're going to carefully unwind back to the front, release, and come back to standing. Give it a little bit of shake off. Hands in prayer position. Inhale, reach those arms overhead, and exhale, any kind of forward bend. You might want to grab opposite elbows, or just let those arms hang limply and breathe. Let's take that inhale to lift up halfway flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat, step a hop back into high push-up position. Okay, take it back to downward dog. And give that little bit of movement. All right. Now let's shift forward into high push-up and lower all the way down onto the ground to come into cobra pose. Now let's hold it here a little longer. In our cobra. Enjoy the stretch to the front of the body. And let's take it back into downward facing dog. A little bit of movement in down dog. And from here, come into pigeon pose, stepping the right knee up behind the right wrist. Take your left leg straight back. Make sure the hips are level. You can always stick a block under that right hip to keep the hips in line with one another. And then go ahead and release all the way down onto the ground. If you know that your knees are not healthy and you don't want to do pigeon pose today, you can always come down onto your back and do that reverse figure 4 stretch instead, okay? Pigeon pose, if you're there, just stay there and relax your upper body. Soften your arms and your shoulders. If your stretch starts to dissipate and you need a little bit more, walk that left foot back, walk that right foot forward. Make sure that front knee doesn't come in towards the middle of the mat. You want to keep it behind the right wrist where the right wrist was. Okay, one more deep breath here. And then we're going to start to make our way back up to seated, make our way back up to more swan pose. Okay. You can stay here, or you can reach, bend that back knee and reach around to grab a hold of the back foot. Okay, and you can just hold onto the outside here. Maybe that right hand can reach back and look for that back foot as well. See how it feels today. Again, if your right hip is sinking down, grab a hold of a block or pillow and prop it under the right hip. You've got that foot pressing back into the hand to deepen that back bend. If this is too much, don't do this. Keep that back foot on the ground and just come into a swan pose. Okay. Nice. One more deep breath. And very carefully release all the way back down to the ground. Step back into a tabletop position. Take your time to come back into tabletop on your hands and knees, and very carefully press down into the hands and knees to arch the back, coming into our cobra. Did I say cobra? I meant cat. Our cat pose. Good. Let's release that. Find your way back to downward facing dog, and as always, you want more, you can take your half sun salutation. Okay. Let's carefully bring the left knee behind the left wrist for your pigeon pose. Foot slightly towards the right side. Make sure that right leg is straight back. Use those props if you feel that the left hip is going to shift down. When you're ready, come forward and relax into pigeon. Single-legged pigeon pose. Let's make our way back up. Okay, just staying here in swan pose. You can always bring a block and place it under the left hip, and see if you can lift that right foot off the mat. Reach around to grab a hold of that right hand with the right foot with the right hand, and then option to reach around with the left as well. Okay, and then once you've got that, you can try to keep the chest facing forward and press that right foot back. Keep breathing. And let's go ahead and very carefully release that right foot back down onto the ground. Press back into your cat pose. Tabletop. Press down to the hands and knees to really arch the back. And downward facing dog, a little bit of walk up and down dog. One more half sun salutation if you have it in you. Good. Right, at the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands and come all the way into seated, walk, hop, or jump all the way through to come into seated position. So once you're in seated, take your legs out in front of you. Bring your right knee in towards the chest and towards the bring that foot to the outside of the left thigh. An option, if you have no knee issues, tuck that left foot in as well, and you come into a seated twist by turning towards the top knee. So you're turning your chest towards the top knee. Back hand is just there for a little bit of balance. And you can either wrap that arm around that right knee, opposite arm around the right knee, or bring the elbow to the outside. Whichever pose you decide, just enjoy this twist, soft gaze over the right shoulder, and deep breaths. One more deep breath here. All right. Carefully unwind back to the front and swing both feet over to the right side. If you have to have the knees stacked, that's fine, but see if you can open up the legs a little bit more and create really beautiful 90-degree angles, right angles with the knees. And we're going to rotate away from the feet towards the opposite side, come into Wheel of Life pose. And you can stay here, or you can come down onto that back forearm. Okay. Some of you may want to take the top hand and stretch it back. Pop the hip forward just a little bit more, and this gives you a great stretch to the side of the body. Like that. All right. One more deep breath. And then very carefully unwind all the way back to the front. Uncross those legs, feet on the ground, lean slightly back, hands supporting you. Let the knees drop side to side in windshield wipers. And we'll stretch those legs out in front of us. Bend the left knee in towards the body. Place the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Option to draw that right foot in, and we're twisting towards the top knee. Elbow to the outside for a little bit more. Backhand just for a little bit of balance, a little bit of support. Try not to lean deeply into that backhand. A few more deep breaths. Come back to the front, rotate back to the front, and have both feet over to the left side. Create a 90-degree angle if you can, and rotate away from the feet towards the back. And you can remain on your hands or come down into the back forearm. And if you want a little bit more, take that top hand and reach it towards the back wall, popping the hips up a little bit off the ground, the left hip. Great, and let's release all the way back to the front. Uncross those legs and take windshield wipers, letting the knees drop side to side. Okay, good. Now let's come on down onto our backs. We're going to take our bridge pose. Just stretch out the front of the body a little bit. Place your feet about hips width apart. Press down into the feet to lift the hips off the mat. So you want to keep those thighs in line with one another. Keep pressing down into those big toes so that you don't let those knees fall open. And if you want a little bit more, you can interlace the fingers under the hips, bringing those arms in a little closer and just holding it here for about 5 deep breaths. We'll take our last breath here. Okay, and then carefully release those hands and roll the spine all the way back down onto the mat. You can let those knees drop side to side in windshield wipers once more. Okay, so we're going to do our spinal twist, and this will look very similar to our revolved triangle and revolved hand to big toe pose. You'll see what I mean. So let's start off by rolling over to the right side of the mat, coming onto your right side of the body, and then take your top leg, which is your left leg, and stretch it out in front of you. Okay, straight leg, bottom leg, if you can get it as straight as possible, that's fine. It's okay if it's slightly bent, but you want to try to get it straight to mimic that hand to big toe pose. Either hold onto the outside of the foot or your big toes, or if that's a little too far away for you, grab a hold of your calf instead. And then you want to take that left hand and stretch it up towards the ceiling and open up to the opposite side. And to do so, you're going to turn your gaze to the left hand as well. So turning your gaze to the left side. And this is our very similar shape to revolved triangle, revolve hand to big toe pose, but on the back, and it's so much easier. Okay, good. Let's unwind the left hand, bring it back towards the right side, and take your time to roll onto your back. Gather the knees into the chest and give that a good roll out here. Massage out the low back. Okay, now let's get ready for the same thing on the other side. You're going to roll the body towards the left side. So roll onto the left side of the body. And then the right leg, straighten as best as you can, and the bottom leg as well. If you can get it straight, that would be great. Again, the grip, wherever you can land your hand on, your left hand, hold onto that foot or the leg. And then you're going to try to rotate, unwind that right shoulder over to the right side. And then turn your gaze away from that leg. So you can turn your gaze to the opposite side. And then just stay here for those deep breaths. Let's bring the right hand back towards the left side and roll onto your back. Center the body. Take some windshield wipers, letting the knees drop side to side, or gather your knees into the chest and give that a little bit of a roll out here. You might feel good. Okay. And any final movements. So we are going to come into our Shavasana in a bit, and if you feel like you need to take any final poses here, be it a back bend or a side stretch, a little bit of roll out, windshield wipers, anything at all, please feel free to take those poses. And then you're going to want to set yourself up comfortably for your Shavasana as well. So grab a hold of your socks, your sweaters. You just want to make sure that your body is relaxed and that the mind isn't distracted by any physical discomforts. And then when you're ready, stretch those legs out, coming into Shavasana. We'll pick up the hips slightly and draw it away from the shoulders. Lift the shoulders and lift the chest off the ground, the back of the body off the ground, and then slowly lower it all the way down onto the mat. Now let's do a full head to toe scan of the body, or toe to head scan of the body, just to make sure that we are relaxed in our Shavasana. Allow the toes to soften and let them fall open. Relax the soles of the feet. Loosen any tight calf muscles. Soften your thighs, your hips. Let your belly rise and fall in a steady rhythm of your breath. Feel those arms become loose, hands and fingers soft. Let tensions ease off the shoulders and the neck. Relaxing your facial features, soften your cheeks and your jaw. Relax the skin around your eyes and forehead. Relax the scalp. Just feel the entire body sink deep into your space, grow heavier. Body is calm, mind is calm. Enjoy your Shavasana. Final few breaths in Shavasana. very peacefully and calmly start to make your way back onto your mat. Waken the body with some small movements. Your toes, your fingers, ankles and wrists. Perhaps letting the head gently drop side to side. If you'd like to take a big stretch today, reach those arms overhead. With inhale, stretch from toes to fingertips. And exhale to release. Gather your knees into the chest. One more hug, one more little roll out. Carefully roll yourself over to one side. Just hold it there for a moment. It's in the fetal position, just cradling your head with your forearms. And just enjoying just a moment longer. Good. So let's make our way back up into seated. Carefully press your way back up. Sit tall. You can keep your eyes closed just a moment longer if you like. We're going to close off the class together with a big breath, a big inhale through the nose, and then just a big sigh out through the mouth. Let's do that together. Let's take a big inhale and big exhale. Thank you very much for joining me today. Namaste.